Thursday's efforts has focused on 57,000 square kilometers of the southern Indian Ocean. It's the smallest area yet in the month-long hunt. This comes a day after an Australian official expressed hope that searchers were closing in on the final resting place of the vanished plane. For more on that, let's cross live to our correspondent Tony Chan in Perth. So, Tony, the JACC has just confirmed a new finding of a possible signal from the black boxes of the missing plane. So, how close are we this time?
That press release dropped just about an hour and a half ago. It was just a couple of lines from the head of the JACC, Air Chief Marshal Angus Houston, saying that an Australian P3 Orion flying out of this airbase, Pierce, close to Perth, had picked up an audio signal. Now, we were told yesterday by Angus Houston that one of the P3 Orion planes flying over the area where the Ocean Shield has been searching was going to drop 87 sonar buoys into the water. They would then deploy in the water in a grid pattern to try and pick up any kind of sound that they could. Now, that appears to have been successful, and as part of the strategy has been, as Mr. Houston explained to us, to try and get whatever signals they can above water before they start to deploy anything under the water. And that's because it's much easier and faster to operate above ground. When they feel they've mapped out enough of that underground signal and they can identify it to a very close area, and they're trying to narrow it down to an area 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers, then they will deploy an unmanned underwater vehicle. But at this stage, they're continuing to search, and presumably, if the sound has been recorded by these sonar buoys, then it should give them a much better idea of the location of that black box.
So, Tony, will Friday's search plan change significantly due to this new finding?
I don't think it will. I think they'll still continue to hover over this area. You mentioned 57,000 square kilometers, much smaller than the previous areas. Again, the area that they're really focusing on is this 30 kilometers by 30 kilometers in the northern area of the search zone, where the Ocean Shield has been deploying the towed pinger locator. That's still going to be going, but we understand they're not going to put too many resources into that area because it needs as much silence as possible. So if they put other ships in there or they fly too many planes overhead, it'll actually disrupt the potential audio signals from under the water. So they want to keep it relatively untouched and uninterrupted down there. That said, they are very aware that the batteries on that black box could be running out at any moment. So as soon as they feel the batteries have died, they will then start the underwater search.
Thank you very much. Our correspondent Tony Chan in Perth.